Today we are back in school and taking a Travel 101 quiz. Please welcome the points guy, Brian Kelly.
Hey, Brian. All right, Professor Brian, what's this quiz all about?
All right, well, listen up. Professor Points Guy is jet lagged. He's been in flight delays, so I'm going to be really tough today because I need my students to know how to navigate the crazy world of travel. So shall we get into it?
Let's do it.
Yes.
All right, listen to these questions carefully, and I can confirm our contestants today have not been given these questions in advance. So let's start. True or false, if your passport is set to expire the month after you come back from your international trip, you can wait to renew it until after you get home from your vacation. False. We're off to a good start. That is false. I cannot stress enough, students, there are some countries that will let you in as long as there's a month, but many countries have 3 or 6 month requirements.
Yep.
Wow.
I once went to Indonesia and they had a 6 month requirement. A friend had 5 months and 29 days, and he thought he could just sweet talk his way in, and guess what? They sent him back to the United States. So the devil's in the details. Don't try to sweet talk Deja, because those customs officials, you know.
All right, what's next?
So next up, true or false? Staycations are less expensive than vacations. True or false? This one is true. I'm going to say in general.
It's the way you said it.
Well, you know, unless, you know, you have a wife that likes to stay in 5-star hotels and get the presidential suite on a staycation, in general, you're going to spend a lot less. But I've got a couple fun tips to spice up a staycation. Doesn't mean you have to stay at home and be bored. So number one, you can still go to 5-star hotels and use the pool, the spa, cabanas. There's an app called Resort Pass that'll let you book all of that.
Really?
Okay. This next one's really interesting and maybe controversial. Swimply, you can actually rent other people's pools and pickleball courts. So if you want to spice it up a little bit, and then if you want to do a little road trip around town, you can rent someone else's car, get a bigger van with the app Turo. So there are some fun ways to rent other people's stuff.
I'm doing Swimply, and I'm bringing some Baby Ruth candy bars with me.
This guy's crazy. Professor, what's our next question?
Moving along, number 3, true or false, Tuesday is the best day to book to get the cheapest flights. False. You young kids these days just want to be handed everything to you, but the fact of the matter is you've got to search for the cheapest flights. Now, 20 years ago, that was true. The airlines used to manually load fares on a Tuesday, but now it's all advanced computing systems. The airfare is really based on demand between those two city pairs. So here are my tips. Use Google Flights. They actually, if you even adjust your date by 1 or 2 days or fly into a different airport, that's how you find the cheapest flights. And they have this cool feature called the Explore Map. So say you want to go New York to the Caribbean on a weekend in February, it'll pull the entire Caribbean, and you can look at a map and go to the place that has the cheapest fare. So I say, go to where the cheap airfares are.
Okay, next question.
All right. In the similar vein, for the best deals, travelers should book their airfare 6 months to a year in advance. True or false?
False.
This one is false. Good job, Deja. There is no, well, first of all, there's a huge difference between domestic and international. So domestic fares are much closer. You're looking 2 to 3 months in advance. Is that roughly, you know, looking at the big data, the sweet spot? For international trips, you want to book further out. Generally 5 to 6 months is that sweet spot for the cheapest fares.
Okay.
All right.
Next question.
All right, next question.
True or false, it's always better to book a flight with connections if it saves you money. True or false?
No.
Oh, I sense there's some.
Get me there.
False. That is correct. You know, you can save money on connections, but like my dad always said, cheap is expensive.
That's what my dad said.
So if you're going to miss a day or a $10,000 cruise because you wanted to save $50 by connecting, I can tell you that connecting, especially if you've got a short connection, do not have connections less than 2 hours these days.
You'll lose a day of your
some airports
life.
like Atlanta, you've got 25 minutes between gates. You're going to cause, the stress alone isn't worth it. So say no to connections.
All right, when we come back, live summer school continues with 101 Travel Quiz.
All right, we're back with the points guy, Brian Kelly, and he's quizzing us on how we'll know the basics of travel. So what's next, Professor
Well, we're going to move into my favorite area because you know I did my PhD in points. So let's get into the next question. True or false, redeeming your points closer to your trip is a smart and viable option. True or false? And that is true. As people don't realize it, there's a myth out there that you have to wait, book way in advance, but it's actually false. The airlines open up a ton of space last minute because they want every seat on that plane full. And your Professor Points guy's pretty cool. I'm actually tonight flying on Points last minute to see Taylor Swift in Vienna for a fraction of what it would have cost. So it is possible even at major sporting events. So
wow.
Always check last minute. All right, next one, true or false? You have no control over whether your bag makes it to your destination safely. True or false?
I mean, in my experience.
Right? Me too.
Well, I'm going to say, this is actually false, because if you're checking a bag, there are things you can do to help make sure it gets there, including getting to the airport early. If you get there last minute, it's a lot harder for them to load that bag, especially because airports are packed. Here are 3 other things I always do when you check a bag. Put an air tag in it. An air tag will actually let you know where it is at all times. If it goes missing, you'll actually know where it is. Number 2, take a picture of your bag when you're checking it in. And number 3 is make sure the agent puts the right airport on that sticker. It may seem like you're looking over their shoulder, but verify that they're checking it to the right place.
Okay.
That's good.
All right, number 8. True or false, you should always pay in local currency at an international destination.
I don't know.
True. True is correct. This is one of the biggest travel scams out there now. I cannot say it loud enough. Never pay in dollars. So whenever you go abroad, they'll say, oh, do you want to pay in dollars?
Yeah, why do they ask you that?
It's because they're making money off of you. If you pay in dollars, they're charging you a horrible conversion rate where they're essentially stealing money from you. Always pay in the local currency and let your bank do the conversion. You'll save a ton of money.
Okay.
Wow.
All right, next question.
All right. True or false, always withdraw cash and exchange currency as soon as you've landed at your destination.
True.
This one is false, because you never want to exchange cash. At the airport, once again, you're getting horrible rates. They are taking money away from you. So you always want to take out cash at a local ATM. So when you're abroad, go to a reputable bank and take out ATM. And once again, some ATMs will even say, hey, do you want us to do the convert? No, no, no. Always take it out local currency. And these ATMs are tricky. They'll make it seem like you really want to take.
I only do the dollars.
No, and they're taking money from you. You got to take it out in the local currency. It adds up.
Okay. Next question.
All right, next question. You need, true or false, you need to alert your credit or debit card company that you're traveling.
True.
It's false. Not anymore. Most credit card
How dare
companies,
you?
How do they know?
I mean, look, it never hurts. You can send a secure message. I mean, if you're going somewhere really far flung, then you might want to, but in general. But I would recommend get text alerts from your bank, because if they do, stop you from making a purchase, a lot of times you get a text, you can approve it, and then make the purchase
How about if I'm
again.
going to Cleveland?
No, domestically, you're good to go. You're good to go. All right. True or false, while on a cruise, travelers need to have their phones on airplane mode. Okay, this is technically the way we answered it is true, because there's crazy roaming fees on international cruises, and so many travelers are getting hit. Even if you think you're in U.S. waters, it can be thousands of dollars. So we highly recommend, even if you think you're off the coast of the U.S., put it on airplane mode unless you absolutely need to, so you avoid those huge fees. So.
Okay, how do we pass our test?
I think we've got one more.
Okay, let's do it.
True or false, traveling with kids is difficult. And we're going to say that one's false. It doesn't have to be difficult.
Well, you're lying.
And I'll just say,
you're wrong.
I've taken my son to 16 countries, and I'll tell parents, going to Europe, there's so many other more kid-friendly countries than traveling in the U.S. So if you've been avoiding international travel with your kids, you'd be shocked at how family-friendly so many other countries are.
All right. Did we pass? I don't think we passed.
Did we pass, Professor?
I'm proud of you. You passed.
All right. Thank you, Brian. Go to kellyandmark.com for all these great trips and more. Coming next, we're going to open up that inbox. Stick around.